Hello, and welcome to yet another solo edition of the VR Untethered podcast. We had the technical issues recording in Altspace on our normal record date, Saturday morning, so, and yesterday I had no time to re-record, so I am re-recording today, Monday, the 24th of February in 2020. So, it's only me, but I will present like I was going to present on Saturday. First of all, we have Brad's highlight of the week. Since he's not here anymore, I will summarize what he said in our recording, where unfortunately he had huge sections where the audio like that. So yeah, I didn't want to upload it like that. That would not have been good for you, good for me, good for us. So Brad's highlights of the week were essentially that he finished playing through Moth and really loved it. And he played Audica some more, and that's a great game and one that he really likes, and it's one that he feels is helping him improve at that first-person shooter games, such as the Contractors beta that we get together and we play every now and then. So because in Audica you have to shoot with the right aim and the right rhythm and all that to get the maximum scores, and he is finding that playing Audica is helping him to get better at the other games where he has to shoot and be accurate. So that's a plus. And my highlight of the week, if the slide will advance, there we go, was pretty much Altspace. Because, as you may have heard, or you may not have heard, I don't know, Altspace, well, it was mostly within Altspace, but it has branched out to a few of the other social VR apps as well, like Roomy, Engage, Mozilla Hubs, Somnium Space. But there was a 6-day long Educators in VR Summit, and it was basically 24/7. Well, 24/6, because it was only a 6-day event. So, but for basically 24 hours a day during that whole 6-day period, there were events, mostly in Altspace, as I mentioned, but a few in Engage and Roomy Hubs, and then so the after party was in Somnium Space. There were events on and around the topic of education and educators in VR. So one of the sessions was Roblox Studio in VR. I have not gone back and watched that episode or that presentation yet, but I plan to, because that is something near and dear to my heart, because my son plays Roblox all the time, and he's been trying his hand at Roblox Studio and making stuff with it. So anything that I can find that might help him, make it more enjoyable, make it easier for him, cool. There were other presentations on medical aspects and like hygiene, how to keep the headsets clean for use in a medical environment. all sorts of stuff all over the place. The VR CEO, Matt. I always forget how his last name is pronounced. Chacon. Sorry if I butchered your name. He gave a presentation in Rumi about basically how and why his company uses VR and Rumi in particular, and how it benefits them to do so. Just throwing out numbers like, say is sending a real person, a real employee to a real world to conference is like 20,000 a day or whatever, but in VR it's only like $15 because the only real cost is the registration for the event, essentially. And it saves on the office space because 6 different locations, you need like 20,000 feet in each location, and this and that. And well, if you're doing it in VR, you don't have to pay that monthly rent. You don't have to worry about all the overhead costs. So it brings costs way down, and it reduces the carbon footprint and all sorts of benefits. So why was that my highlight of the week? I was helping out with recording some of the videos because they were doing live streams and they wanted everything recorded as well, so that there were, because it's not perfect yet and there are glitches like what happened to us on the weekend when we tried to record. But the more people helping out and recording and streaming, the better the chance of everything being recorded properly and then able to be shared. And to my knowledge, it was a historic event because it's the first event of its kind to go as long as it has. So, and really quickly, here is a video that I recorded that I use Shadow to access Altspace in flat screen mode. So this is before I had the keyboard shortcut for going for full screen memorized. That's what that was. So and so this is what it looked like. As you can see, there's a presentation slideshow board in the background, basically exactly what I'm using right now right here. The audience at the back of me, so the camera bot there, a host, a presenter, a way to ask questions, get answers, a way to use the emoji thing to applaud or laugh, etc. while muted. And it was a lot of fun. This is one of the things that Altspace discovered that they need to address, because camera bots, if they're not being attended, that pops up and it doesn't go away because you have to click to make it go away. And I forget if I ever did or not on that one, so but this is the one that got uploaded. So anyways, done with the highlights, on to our new releases. So new releases this week, or this last week, we had Ghost Giant. That was one of the new releases. It's a well done. From what I have heard, it's the story of Louis. They call him a little boy. He looks more like a little cat or a little dog or mouse or something. And you, a ghostly or a giant ghostly figure, and you help him out with the various things. You gain his to trust, and there are puzzles, cute adventures, and all that. However, based on reviews and based on what I had already heard from before it was released for the Quest, this does deal with some serious topics like depression and anxiety and general mental health issues. So, if you are sensitive to that, you might want to stay away from this, but from all that I've heard, it's a great title and it's really well done. Neither Brad nor I got it. I didn't get it because I'm on a limited budget and I could only get one game this week, and I chose to get the next game I'm going to talk about. Brad has been kind of put off by the whole mental health aspect of it, and he's been on the verge of buying it a couple times, and then he reads another review that says, not only did I laugh, but I cried. It's heartbreaking at times, and he's not sure that he really wants that in the game at this point in his life. So take that as you will. If you are able to handle that, it just should be a great game, a great title. It's $25. That's not a bad price for it. Although it is from what I've heard, it is on the shorter end. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just an okay price. It is in between what I would be wanting to pay for a short game and what I would be absolutely flat out unwilling to pay. So it's in that middle gray area. So next up we have OhShape. And this one I did get. But first of all, let's watch the trailer for just a little bit while I talk. This is another rhythm game. It's been hyped up a little bit. It's been out for the PC for a little while, and we've seen the videos of people playing it. There's the Tuge, I think, VR, and doing his YMCA stuff with it, and other stuff where he's just dressing up the part of the custom song he is playing. So, given that I like rhythm games and I like fitness games, and this was only $19.99, I went ahead and I bought it. And frankly, and I may be having an unpopular opinion here, but I am considering returning and refunding it. Not because it's not well done. It is well done. It's just not grabbing me. When I got Synth Riders, I was hooked. I played it for like 45 minutes on the first time, and I took the headset off and went, it's been 45 minutes? What? Same thing with Pistol Whip. 45 minutes, an hour. I'm like, wait, it's been that long? Dang. Audica, same thing. I played it for a good long time and then took off the headset and went, wow, it's been that long already? OhShape, first chance I got to play it after buying it was Friday in the middle of the day. And granted, it was partially because I had somewhere I had to get going, but it was only like an 11-minute play session. Yep, you heard me right. 11 minutes. And I didn't feel, wow, that was way too short a time. I didn't feel, I can't wait to get back in it and play more. I played it again Sunday. Since I should tell you something right there, I didn't go back to it Saturday. Sunday I played it again for 12 minutes. And I had nowhere to go after then. I just didn't feel like playing it more after that 12 minutes. And I'm not sure if it's just that the songs are not are not clicking with me, or if it's the color scheme is too bright and pastel, or if it's the shapes feel a little bit too arbitrary and not so connected enough, or a combination of all those things. I'm not entirely sure, because I would like to like it, and it's a great fitness title. In the 12 minutes that I played it on Sunday, according to Your Fit, I burned 122 calories in that 12 minutes and 20 seconds. So it is much more of a fitness title than a lot of the other rhythm games are, in my opinion. And I compared it with the Dance Central demo. It burns more calories than the Dance Central the demo did for me. Now, I found that the easy mode in OhShape was almost too easy and too slow. It was, okay. It was long periods of time between each wall. But then when I bumped up to medium, it was flailing arms, because it was coming at me a little too fast. And I know a lot of that is just I'm not used to it. I don't have the map memorized, but because of how the walls come at you, like this, and you got the cut out in this wall, cut out in that wall, you don't have quite as much time to see what is coming next as you do in all the other rhythm games. What I do like about it, though, is because it's a shape matching game, well, head and hand is the position matching, really. It projects your shadow, or a reflection, if you will, on the wall in front of you. And so you are able to see if you are lining up or not, instead of just guessing. So if you can see your reflection on the wall, you're not lined up right. So, but your mileage may vary. A lot of people have gotten it and absolutely loved it. I'm thinking that it's not for me. I'm going to give it one more try, and I'm going to try doing a custom song on it, and if that does it for me and gets me liking it, I'll keep it. If not, I'm going to get a refund, and I'm sorry if you disagree with me. For whatever reason, yes, that's not for me. Now, before I go on any further, if you have watched to this point, thank you very much. And watch for links in the video. I'm going to put this in the comments too. Watch for, well, not links, codes. I'm going to put this in the comment. I've got a few codes to give away for SteamVR titles. I know it's not Oculus Quest titles, but it's SteamVR titles. If you did not take advantage of the Humble Bundle and you would like some of the titles that were in the Humble Bundle, I have a few codes to give away because I did that. And some of the games I either already had or were ones that I personally was not interested in, even though they are great games. And so I'm going to share them with you. I'm going to, throughout the rest of the video after this point, put some of the codes in for you to grab. So watch for that, and let me know in the comments if you grabbed them. Now, moving on, we have this is also another new release of sorts. Virtual Desktop has a new beta version out. I've blurred all the links here because I grabbed it out of the Discord instead of off of the Reddit post. But there is the Oculus integration version of it out in beta right now, which means that when you are connected to your gaming PC or to your Shadow PC, you can run Oculus titles natively rather than going through SteamVR. And this has the change log and whatnot, so you will need to launch it from launch the games from the virtual desktop menu rather than going into Oculus Home and launching it that way. I tried it out just briefly. It's still being worked on, but I found that it gave really good performance, and it only just came out as the beta. So if you are at all interested in this, to go check it out in the Discord. I will find the Reddit link to the Reddit post, and I'll put that in the comments or in the description also. So kudos to Guy Gooden for putting this out there. It has what enabled me to play SteamVR games and Oculus Rift games. So cool. Now, upcoming titles. We have Down the Rabbit Hole confirmed for March 26th. This is obviously Alice in Wonderland inspired game where all we know so far is the girl is not Alice, and it's got puzzles, it's got a story, and it's got a unique method of gameplay, kind of. It's in the diorama world, it's kind of environment. You can interact with the roots and turn the environment, move up and down, and all that stuff. We've seen the BMF and Gamertag have a little playthrough of a beta version, and it looks like it's going to be a really solid title when it comes out. No word on the pricing yet, but hopefully it will be priced appropriately for however long it ends up being. So, moving on from that, we have Five Nights at Freddy's has kind of a release date confirmed, but not really. There's no actual date, just a window of late first quarter and early second quarter of this year. So sometime around the time that Down the Rabbit Hole is coming out, or a couple weeks later, is what I am guessing, because at the end of March would be late first quarter, beginning of April to the middle of April would be early second quarter. So sometime March or April is when this is slated to be released on Quest, and it, as far as I can tell, a relatively hyped game as well. It looks to be well done. I know the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise is an extremely popular franchise, and if you've been waiting for it, now you have an idea of when it is coming out. And the Room VR. This is one that I'm looking forward to. My wife has played all of the Room games on her iPad, and I'm looking forward to this. It looks to be very well done. Again, we've seen BMF have a little playthrough video of it also. Not the whole game, just a beta demo, or a reviewer demo, beta, whatever. It looks very well done. It looks like it's got gorgeous graphics. and it looks and sounds and plays like a room game. The only drawback to or for some people is it looks like it's, for now anyways, and this may change by the time it gets released, I don't know, but it looks like it's a teleport only game. Not a deal breaker, although I, like many others, would prefer full locomotion. But that's a design choice, and if it is designed right, it will feel natural. The other potential drawback that I can see is it looks like only objects that are pertinent to the puzzle or stage you are in are interactable. So it looks like there's no random just for fun interactions like there are in other games like Westworld Awakening, where you can just pick up the hat and put it on your head. Does absolutely nothing for the game. You can do it. So, but either way, this looks like a very fun game, and I'm looking forward to it. I have not heard of a release date for it yet, a release window, or pricing. So, but it's one I'm going to be keeping my eyes on. Next, Guns and Stories, Bulletproof VR. I happened to see this in the Coming Soon section in the store, and felt it was worth a mention. Brad had mentioned that he had played this on SteamVR, and so I forget exactly what he said about it, but he had kind of mixed feelings about it. He liked the idea, didn't quite feel that the execution was what he was looking for. We went into a brief discussion whereupon we agreed that a Western game that was more like the opening of Westworld Awakening, which is in a Western setting, but instead of a collection of tall tales, instead of a collection of tall tales, a full-fledged adventure, like, say, you can become Clint Eastwood in a Clint Eastwood Western movie, You become the outlaw Josie Wales. You are going through and, that kind of story-driven Western game would, I think that might do a lot better. But this still looks like it will probably be a fun title. And I don't know release dates, pricing, cross-buy, not cross-buy. I don't know any of that right now. If I know, I will pass that on. And finally, GNUs from Gary GNU. Part of what I discovered during the Altspace event was Charlie Fink has a new book out called Convergence AR, and it's how the world will be painted with data, and he's basically looking at how things are now, how things will be. He's being a little bit of a futurist in that sense, and this is another book where he has AR embedded into the book. So there are certain pictures within the book, including the book cover, if I remember right, that are markers that you can to download the app on your phone, look at it through the camera, and you see a little AR animation, information, whatever. So he has an ebook, he has a physical book. It's available on that website. So if you are at all interested in it, you go check it out. And a summary of headlines. One of the biggest headlines is Oculus and Facebook, and also Sony PlayStation pull out of the Game Developers Conference, citing coronavirus concerns. Personally, I think there's a little bit of an overreaction going on there, because the center where the GDC is being held has come out and said, hey, we are fully compliant with the CDC, with the WHO, and all their requirements for making a safe international summit event. And we've actually had a couple international events there and no incidents. This is safe. But they are still pulling out, citing coronavirus concerns. We will still get all of the news that we would normally get, just we won't see live streams coming from the show floor and whatnot. I don't know if any of the companies pulling out are planning this, but harking back to what I was just talking about in the Altspace stuff, if they made a way to, in VR, still go, as it were, to their booth on the GDC floor, hold a virtual GDC for the people that are pulling out or whatever, I think that would get a lot of people attending, and that would get a lot of attention, and it'd be a heck of a lot more fun than just going, okay, it's time to look up the YouTube video about what Oculus announced, So, but I don't know, maybe they will, maybe they won't. I know Samsung has done stuff like that in the past. They've had a VR way to attend their developer conference or announcement thing, when they announced their 360 camera and whatnot. I know I attended it virtually with my Gear VR. So, and if they could do something like that, that would be awesome. That would, it'd be a lot better than just pulling out and having YouTube videos, in my opinion. Another bit of news, 2-Bit Circus, which is the studio behind the Prince of Persia or Assassin's Creed, I forget which one, inspired location-based experience. They add a new title called Oddball, playable by up to 8 players. I don't know a lot of details about it, except that it's a free roam VR experience, and is, I think, right now only in the Los Angeles area. But if it does well enough there, it will probably expand to more areas, and maybe even to an area near you or me. I have yet to try any of the location-based ones because there are none where I live. I have to go elsewhere, and I have not managed to yet. Another bit of news. Lynx, a French startup, raises $2 million for a mixed reality headset releasing in summer of 2020. I wrote the year down wrong. 2020 for $1,500. This is a partnership with the Qualcomm and their XR chipset and all that. And going by the price, I am guessing that it's aimed at enterprise, at least for now. As I think a few people have said, we are probably not going to see a consumer headset come out of the Qualcomm thing until next year sometime. But you never know. Still, this is exciting news. There's always room for more headsets in my opinion, and if this does well, hey, more power to them. We will keep an eye on it. And a bit of really big news: Pistol Whip is going to have a tournament in March, again, not of 2019, but of 2020, I wrote the year down wrong in my slideshow. For home, arcade, and in person with $10,000 in prizes. So there's going to be one weekend where people can play at home and they compete in the tournament. There'll be another weekend where arcade will have a competition, and then the winners of the home and the winners of the arcade weekends will go on the third weekend to do an in-person competition. I don't know all the breakdown of the prizes and what exactly it is. You know, if it's like $8,000 to the first place, and then the remainder $2,000 is divided up, or if they're taking hardware given. I don't know all the details of that. And I forget which song it's going to be, which scene, but to the best of my knowledge, it's going to be played on no fail and on the hardest mode possible. So if you are interested in this, you can go sign up. I will try to get the link to the website in the description of the video. You can go sign up. There's a Google form to fill out and start practicing now, because you're going to need the practice now. So, yeah. And then lastly, we had a core topic of what has lived up to the hype. Basically, what games did we think lived up to the hype? What games did not live up to the hype? I'm running out of time for my re-record here, so I'm just going to really quickly to summarize. We've had some games come out that absolutely lived up to the hype. Pistol Whip came out, lived up to the hype. It actually overtook Beat Saber for a brief period of time. The Pistol Whip lived up to the hype. In my opinion, Apex Construct lived up to the hype. Moth definitely lived up to the hype. And then we have games like Aspire 1, which was an extremely hyped game. It came out and it was so full of bugs that it did not live up to the hype. It's slowly climbing back up to what the hype was now. It's becoming worthy of the hype, but it took it a while. It had a very slow start. I have not played this on Quest. Brad has. It's Doctor Who Edge of Time, a pretty hyped game that when it came out, there were a bunch of people wanting to return it because, and this is new to me because I didn't know what exactly the bug or the glitch was, but people couldn't get in out of the main laundromat room into the office, because if they didn't push the door open all the way and then hold on to it, it closed a little bit on them, and they then could not get in to the back room. And supposedly there were more glitches in that first level area, but once you got past that first level, everything else was smooth. So again, hype game didn't quite live up to the hype on release. If you have to issue a 0-day patch, that's not really a good thing. So, but what do you think lived up to the hype? What do you think fell short of the hype? Let us know in the comments. We would love to hear. And also let us know if you picked up any of the codes that I will be putting in here. On that note, bye. Have a great rest of your day. And remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends so that everyone else can have the joy that is VR Untethered.